We believe in the strength of South Wales, the opportunity that is here right now in comparison to other areas of the UK where the prices are higher, and obviously when you're having to pay a higher price for properties, you've got all the fees associated to that, which tend to be higher as well. You've got higher refurbs, and unfortunately with the way the market is kind of trading a bit sideways at the moment, there isn't necessarily the guarantee of end values. So what we're doing is pushing into the opportunity, which right now is South Wales. It's the lower barrier to entry. It's the great investment potential that this has. Okay, we're doing this here. We're doing this in a couple of areas of the UK as well, but this is a massive, massive focus for us. So I want to, I guess, share some insights into that along the way as well. But first of all, let's take a look around this house and let me walk you through what's currently going on here. This property, which we have been to before, we've been to in a recent video. I say recent, it's probably a few months ago now. It took forever to get across the line in terms of conveyancing. So finally completed. The builders got in, I think, just under a couple of months ago, ripped the place out, and I've had to go through the ordeal of the rewire, replumbing, putting up new walls downstairs, putting in the kitchen, and well, we're at the point in which obviously the plastering's happened, the miscoats happened, the carpentry is soon to go on to your architrave, your skirting, and this house will really start to come to life very, very soon. But we've got 3 bedrooms up here. So we've got the one we were just in with that awesome view out the back of the rolling hills. You've got then 2 at the front. You've got this one here, which I would call kind of a small double. And then you've got the 3rd one just behind yourself, or me now, just behind me now, which is more of a single stroke study kind of area. But this is kind of the perfect sweet spot in terms of a 3-bed. You wouldn't want the rooms any smaller than this. In fact, if they were smaller, then you'd want to make it just a large 2-bedroom. We find those kind of combinations, a large 2-bed or 3 reasonable size rooms, to be the best 2 layouts for kind of young professionals that are starting family, kind of doing that hybrid work of home and some time at the office. So this is the top floor. This house is over 3 floors. Let's head down one. So in this room here, you might recognize it from a previous video. There hasn't been much that's changed. In fact, having some of the doors propped up and the window blocked kind of shows that it looks very similar in many ways. But this room, what has happened is there was a big old fireplace here which has been removed and it's been boarded up. Same at the front there as well. And this room will kind of start to come to life a little bit more in the upcoming weeks now that it's had the miscoat. It's a little bit rough around the edges at the moment, but that tends to look like this at this stage before the carpentry goes on, before that skirting goes on the walls, the architraves go on. It always looks a little bit rough around the edges at this point, but very nearly there. Again, once again, got awesome view, even from this mid-level out the back there. And it's like a really good living space. So when you come in the front door, which is just down here behind me, you've got a nice hallway, you've got living space, and you either go up for your bedrooms or you go down into your kind of kitchen room, utility area. So we'll head down there next. So this room at the back, again, hasn't changed much in terms of appearance, only the fact that we've got a wall that's gone up here. Again, we'll overlay some old shots of what it used to look like. This is where the kitchen was tucked at the back, okay? Yes, there's likely to be a new door going on the back here. Obviously you've got the window there. It's looking very dark right now due to, well, it is raining, unfortunately. And the weather, sorry, not the weather, it's raining, unfortunately, and outside the back here, the garden has not been cleared, so you can see that's kind of taking away a lot of the light. But this is kind of your utility space, stroke where the boiler is now being housed, obviously access to the garden. And in the room behind us here, this is where the kitchen has now been moved to, which is actually a very, very typical layout for South Wales, because you've got that kind of 3 stories that you see quite a lot, where you've got your bedrooms, your living rooms, and this kind of kitchen space. For anyone outside of Wales, might feel a little bit unusual, but it's very much typical when we're viewing houses here. What do you think of the space?
Yeah, I think in terms of as I mentioned, it's a very typical sort of layout. As in someone who would live in this area, I think what's really interesting when you're looking to potentially, as an investor, purchase a property as a beach bar and get a tenant in, you may get from new investors pushback like, They want to either view the house, they're obsessed about, this is not something I personally live in, oh, I don't like it. But in reality, I think something which we learn, which we preach to new investors, you need to focus on why you're investing in the property in the first place, the numbers, the deal, and not obsessed about the emotional side of things, which is more about, personally, would I like this place? And I think that's the raw thing you need to come back to as an investor is the deal.
Yeah, so it's like the investor versus residential homeowner mindset.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. And I think in this particular area, as you said, with three-story houses like this, everyone's very familiar with that layout as a local, whereas it might not be as familiar to someone who's from London, but investing from outside the area. So bear it in mind when you're looking at the deals and don't let it scare you off.
Yeah.
This place looks nice.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think ultimately, where you're looking at it from an outsider, you're worrying that maybe you might not live there. But when the locals do understand this type of house, or they like these type of houses, if you've got a good kitchen, good bathrooms, nice bedroom space, good living room, they'll rent all day long.
Yeah.
So then when you understand that, you can take your mind away from that, just think numbers wise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.